Hey business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 110,000 bonus miles for a limited time through July 16th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends 7/16/25.
British Spy Stories Season 4 Double Agent Episode 28. The bedroom is in darkness when Kate is woken by the sound of a vehicle on the road outside the safe house. She looks at the clock next to her bed and the numbers show 01:17. She stands up and looks through the blinds of her bedroom window. It's a cloudy sky tonight. There are few shadows to highlight her view of the lane outside. She can still hear the vehicle, but it's stopped now, and the engine is idling 50 yards down the track that joins the house to the main road. She pushes her head near to the glass, but still can't see anything. Kate pulls on her jeans and a t-shirt, picks up her gun, and tiptoes down the stairs. The view from the lounge doesn't give her any better view of the road either. She unlatches the front door and silently pulls it open. Kate walks out into the road and looks in the direction of the idling car. Someone is there in the road, their outline nearly invisible with the lack of moonlight. But they're not moving towards the house. They're walking away from it. Kate screws up her eyes, trying to see more. Then the sound of a car door opening and closing reaches her ears, and the car engine revs as the vehicle starts to move off. "Fuck," Kate says to herself. She turns and runs back to the safe house, then up the stairs to Laravel's room. The room is empty. "Stupid bloody girl!" She can hear movement from the other rooms. Then Gabby appears in the doorway. "What is it?" "Jenny's gone." "What?" "She was just picked up on the road." "By Luke?" "That would be my guess." "How long ago?" 5 minutes, but I couldn't see which way they went." They both hear the sound of Gabby's mobile phone, and she goes to collect it from her room. The screen displays the words Taxi Company, the stored name on the device for the direct line from London Central Control. She hits answer. "Blackhawk, it's Marlin from Control." "What can I do for you, Marlin?" "We've had a red flag in the system. We have trackers turned on for your allocated resources. Tech branch routine scanners have just picked something up." "Go on." "Agent Laravel's tracker departed your location a few minutes ago. Can we confirm if this is a planned departure from the logged operations plan?" "It isn't." "Can you tell where she's headed?" "She's in a vehicle which turned onto the main road through Germany towards Switzerland." "Okay." "But also they can see on the satellite system that there's another vehicle following her," says Marlin. Gabby takes a silent, deep breath out. Her eyes are heavy for a split second. "Send the tracker signal to my phone, will you, Marlin?" "1 second," says the woman. "Okay, that's done." "I'll be in touch." Gabby ends the call and Hans appears in the doorway after hearing voices. "Are we going to follow her?" says Kate. "Yes. Be ready, both of you. In 5 minutes. "What about the gold bar?" says Hans. "Bring it with you. We can't leave it here." The three of them gather by the front door and move out to the Volvo in the darkness. Kate starts the engine, and the lights from the dashboard flood their faces with green hue. Gabby patches the tracker signal into the sat-nav screen, and they start the journey to follow Laravel as she moves south towards the Swiss border. As the dawn light rises above the Alps, the first flecks of snow begin to tumble in the air. Luc looks across at Laravel, asleep in the passenger seat next to him. He rubs his eyes after driving all night and thinks about what might happen now. This isn't like him. He normally follows the rules. He's not a rebel. But he was pushed too far. Even a quiet man bites back in the end. He doesn't know what he wants. All he does know is that he's glad that Laravel came with him. He knows she's taken a risk. His stomach is empty and has been aching for 2 hours. The last thing he ate was a sandwich from a petrol station on the way up to Frankfurt. Laravel stirs but doesn't wake. As the BMW rolls over the brow of a hill, he can see a small hotel nestled in the valley ahead, next to the road. He decides to stop and pulls into the car park, turns off the engine, leans back, and closes his eyes. The next thing he knows, Laravel is gently shaking him by the arm. "Hey, you were asleep? Look, snow." He takes a deep breath and screws up his eyes as he looks out at the view in front of them. Smooth lawns around the hotel, now mottled with white, roll away to rocky outcrops and mountains in the distance. He smiles at her. "Breakfast," he says. They walk over to the hotel and are shown to a table in a restaurant that has brown and cream crisscross tiles on the floor and net curtains at the windows. They chat to the waitress, who is a local girl and who has lived all her life in this valley and can't imagine being anywhere else. On the road outside, back at the crest of the hill, 2 black Toyota SUVs glide to a halt, and the men in the leading car look at the hotel. The men know the registration number of the car they're following, and one of them puts binoculars up to his eyes and confirms that this is the one they're after. On the back seat of the Toyotas are 4 Heckler & Koch HK416 automatic assault rifles, loaded and ready for use, just as Mr. Zetkin requested. "What do you plan to do after the weekend?" says Laravel, when they've ordered food. "I don't know," he says. "Won't Dieter want you back on duty in Berlin?" "I'm not going back," he says. "What about you?" She shakes her head. "Get another assistant job somewhere." "You're not an assistant. What are you really? How did you know about Vincent's death?" "Madame told me." "What about that gang you put together for the robbery? How did you do that?" "My dad. He was a big-time burglar. I've known them for years." "You going to get a cut of the gold and the cash?" "Some, yeah." The Toyotas on the hill pull out and move down towards the car park of the hotel. "We could go on holiday," he says, "after this weekend." "Maybe." "Do you want to?" "I don't know yet," she says. "Let's see how the weekend goes." A waitress puts plates of food down in front of them. "I have this plan," he says. "Oh, yeah?" She smiles at him. "A life plan sort of thing. Buy a hotel, 20 bedrooms, views over sparkling sea. My kids running around outside." "That's a big plan." "We could do it." He pauses. "With your money?" She's silent for a moment and takes a mouthful of food. "I haven't made plans," she says. "I'm not that sort of girl. More spur of the moment. That's why I chose this job." He frowns. "Personal assistant?" Even before she finishes saying the words, Laravel realizes that she was talking about her real life. But she doesn't say any more. Her eyes flick up to one of the windows. for less than a second, she sees a dark shadow move across the light, and she puts down her knife and fork.
Luke, I need to go to the bathroom.
She stands and picks up her bag. As she walks out, her fingers check that her Glock 17 handgun is in the bag. Laravel walks to the back corridor of the hotel, which leads to the bathrooms and the kitchens. There are 3 windows along the side wall that give her a view of the car park's gravel, stretching out to the lawns. There's a door to the rear of the property. She turns the handle and steps outside. It's quiet. The snow is falling more thickly and dampens the sounds around her. She tries to look casual and walks to the corner of the building to survey the scene outside. There are 2 men near the entrance doors to the hotel, standing together. They are talking, but she can't hear their voices from this distance. Their bulky, padded jackets make them look large, but she can see that at least one of them is concealing something underneath. For a moment he adjusts his coat, and she can see an assault rifle. Laravel goes back inside and returns to the breakfast room.
Luke, we need to go.
Eh?
We need to go.
Why?
Come on.
She puts Swiss francs down on the table and starts to walk. After grabbing bread from the plate in front of him, Luke stands and goes after her. She leads them back to the corridor and outside to the rear of the building. Only now does Laravel tell him what's going on.
Listen to me.
She looks directly into his eyes.
There are 2 armed men out the front. They're probably looking for us.
I've got my service weapon in the car, he says.
Good. Only problem is, they're between us and the car. But I've got my Glock here.
You've got a handgun? His voice rises, and she puts her finger to her lips.
I'll cover you,
she says.
You run to the car and get your gun. Then we both approach them and try to overpower them. Okay.
What guns have they got?
It looks like assault rifles.
He opens his eyes and breathes deeply.
You ready?
She says. He nods.
Go.
Luke dashes out beyond the corner of the building. One of the men sees him immediately and pulls the rifle from under his jacket. The bullets cause snow to bang up into the air as they hit the ground around the running man. The second man has a rifle too and pulls it out. Laravel steps out from behind her cover and shoots at the men, aiming to draw their fire. The second man turns his rifle towards her and pulls the trigger. Slugs of brickwork explode off the wall near her head as he sprays the bullets. Luke is at the BMW now. He dives down the side of the car and unlocks the door while staying down, out of sight. The first rifleman is running towards him. Luke pushes inside the car, grabs his Sig Sauer P225, and rolls back out. He takes a shot, but misses. The man opens fire, and bullets ping off the bonnet and the BMW, leaving their mark. Luke fires again, and this time is on target, hitting the man's arm. It's enough to stop him, and he grabs his shoulder with his other hand. Laravel starts to run the distance between the hotel and the car. The second rifleman takes aim, but his shot is wide. At that moment, she can see two other men jump out of another Toyota, parked at the back of the car park, automatic rifles in their hands. She reaches the BMW. "Get in!" she shouts at Luke. The first man has managed to raise his rifle again and shoots at the car. One bullet shatters the front windscreen, and the safety glass goes opaque, splitting into 1,000 cells. Laravel takes her Glock and smashes it into the windscreen, exploding the glass outwards over the bonnet, The first rifleman is 20 feet away when Laravel starts the engine. She hits him with a BMW and he bounces off onto the snowy gravel. The wheels spin as she steers towards the exit. The two new men open fire at the departing car, but Laravel has put too much distance between them and her. She pulls the wheel around and the BMW skids out onto the road, then accelerates away up the other side of the valley. Episode 29. The departure boards in Zurich Airport flutter with information about gates and routes. Rose looks up at the displays again. Next to the number of her flight to London, the board just says, "Wait in concourse." She wants to stay landside until the last minute, so she can go and smoke if she needs to. Rose gets up and walks to buy an Americano, then wanders around the shops in the terminal. She's not taking any notice of the people around her. As she walks outside, she lights a Gauloise. The smoke creates a halo around her for a second. Then it scatters in the wind. It had been easy to move Zetkin's cash out of the country. One of her contacts had even arranged for a courier to pick it up from her hotel this morning. This could be the start of the big time for her. Klaus Neumann is a good opportunity to grow her influence, and with Zetkin out of the picture, she can take over his operation too. By force, if she has to.
"Hello, Rose."
The voice is steady, but it's not one that she knows. She turns her head. The woman has black hair tied back and blue oval eyes.
"Have we met?"
she says.
"No, but we have common acquaintances. My name's Maya Lorenz. I know that you killed Vincent Ferrier."
Maya offers her hand to shake, but Rose ignores it. She takes a long drag on her cigarette.
"I've not heard of him,"
she says.
"He was my lover, but I'm not here to talk about Vincent. I'm here because you stole my money. I had 2 boyfriends, you see."
Rose opens her eyes wider.
"The other one was Leo Haas." "You've certainly used your talents,"
says Rose.
"I don't know any of these people that you're talking about. You must have got the wrong woman."
Maya ignores the words, but she has a question of her own.
"How did you get the PIN number to his bank account?"
She puts her hand into her bag and pulls out a folded piece of paper which she hands to Rose.
"The bank were very obliging to share their CCTV images of you."
Rose looks at the paper.
"What do you want?"
"The money."
"That's gone. I gave it to charity." "I don't want to kill you, Rose. I'm glad to hear it. But if I have to, I will."
Maya's face muscles don't move, but she does blink, slowly.
"If you killed me, you'd never get your money, would you? I'm also sure you wouldn't want your pretty face damaged,"
says Maya.
"Or to have one arm injured beyond repair."
Maya delves into her bag for a second time and pulls out a handgun. Only enough to show Rose, then lowers it into the bag, but keeps it trained on the other woman.
"You and I are going to go together and transfer Leo's cash into my account."
The two of them are motionless for a moment. The muffled echoes of the tannoy system from inside the terminal building are carried out through the doors.
"There's a business suite inside,"
says Maya.
"They have computers, so we can do the transfer there."
She nods her head to one side, to indicate for Rose to move. They walk back into the building and follow the signs for the business suite. Maya has an airline gold card, which gets them into the room. Inside there are meeting tables and a soft seating area, and along one edge of the room 6 soundproof booths for conference calls.
"In here,"
says Maya, and she pulls back the door to one of the booths that contains a computer terminal and 2 chairs. Once they're inside, Maya closes the door, and silence descends.
Log in,
she says. Rose types on the keyboard and a website for a bank comes up. She types in her user ID, but as she starts to type in the password, her hand moves with speed up to Maya's throat. The ends of Rose's fingers turn white as she applies pressure to the woman's windpipe. Maya grabs Rose's hand and tries to pull it away, but Rose is the stronger of the two. Maya lashes out and lands a blow to Rose's body, then pushes her, and she comes off the chair and crashes into the wall. Other people outside have seen the fight now, and one goes to get security. Rose lunges for Maya's hand and pulls back her fingers around the gun, and it eventually falls to the ground. Rose pulls back the glass door, then runs for the exit of the business area. Maya is up and running after Rose immediately. Rose turns into the main concourse. She starts to run along the 100 yards in front of the check-in desks, crashing through the queues of passengers waiting to register. She looks back to see Maya on her tail, and the woman is gaining ground. Rose runs for the stairs to the next level up. By the time she reaches the base of the steps, Maya has nearly caught her. There's a row of luggage trolleys, and Rose grasps hold of the first one and rams it towards Maya. She repeats the action and hurls more trolleys. Then she starts to climb the stairs. Maya pushes through the barrage of trolleys and chases up the steps. Rose again has to push people out of the way in her rush to escape. By the time Rose reaches the top of the flight, Maya is only a few feet behind her. Rose hesitates for 1 second and feels Maya's hand grabbing at her arm. She pulls Rose around and swings a punch, but Rose brings her foot up and kicks the side of Maya's body. Rose turns away and Maya follows. They reach a restaurant with cutlery stacked in containers on the counter. Rose grabs knives and forks, and they rain down on the other woman. They both have blood running down their faces now from the onslaught. People around them move away as the women fight. Maya gets a grip of Rose's head and pulls her downwards. Rose lashes out and scrapes her fingers across Maya's cheek, and she cries out. 3 security guards are closing in on the battling women. Rose reaches the escalators down to the ground floor. A glass barrier runs around the hole in the floor that takes the passengers on the moving stairs. Maya catches up. Rose slaps her hard across the face, but Maya punches and hits the other woman's cheek. Rose is momentarily dazed and bends down. Maya comes for her again, and in that second that Maya hits Rose's body, Rose pushes her, and Maya hits the glass barrier. Her momentum takes her against the glass, then up and over the top bar. Rose doesn't stop to watch, but everyone else in the building does. Maya's body tumbles in the air, almost in slow motion. She makes no sound, and the people around her stop talking. Maya rolls head over heels, and then again. Less than a second later, the blood from her head sprays out across the tiles of the ground floor, and her body collapses into a pile of skin and bone. The people stare, not believing what they've seen. Then the sound rolls back in and a roar of noise rises up from their throats. Rose takes the opportunity of everyone being distracted by the woman's death to hurry down the back stairs and out through a fire exit to the paths that surround the terminal building. She runs under a footbridge to the access road and across the parking area. There's a gate at the far side, and she pushes through it into woods beyond. She doesn't look back and disappears into the trees. Riverside is in his office in Vauxhall Cross when one of the operational control staff puts their head around the doorframe to his office. "Rob?" He looks up. "We just got a flag that ties into the job you're doing with Fife." "What is it, Frank?" One of the dark websites we monitor had a job posted on it for an assassination about an hour ago. We saw that a freelance killer had picked it up, and we hacked the server to see the messaging between the client and the freelancer. The client sent a photo of the target, and our facial recognition software flagged it immediately. Okay, says Riverside. Who's the target? The man hands Riverside a photo. Emma Dudley, Agent Loxby. Riverside can feel his heart start to pump hard, instantaneously. Thanks, Frank, I'll deal with it. He calls her mobile, and after 2 rings, she answers. Hi, Rob. He'd started making the call before thinking about what he's going to tell her. Emma.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight?
I'm out. Why?
You at home now?
Yes. What's this about, Rob?
Can you stay there? I'll come to you.
Why?
Just need to brief you on an issue, he says. It came out of our Operation Dumby work.
Can't it wait, Rob?
Her frustration is rising.
I'm just on my way out.
No, Emma.
Then tell me over the phone.
I can't.
Then it can't be that urgent, can it? We're on encrypt. No one's listening, Rob.
Just stay where you are.
I need to go out, Rob.
She hangs up, and he swears to himself. Riverside grabs his coat and descends by lift to the 2nd floor, where the control room is located. He pushes into the room. Frank, I need a tracker signal. Do MI5 put trackers on their agent vehicles like we do? Some, Rob. Depends on rank. Can you check Agent Loxby? Frank turns to a screen in front of him and types into the keyboard. He clicks through some pages. Sorry, mate. She ain't got one. You can track her phone. Better than nothing. It'll give you the cell she's in. Okay, thanks. He hurries out and calls into the MI6 transport office. They allocate him a car that's parked in the basement of Vauxhall Cross. He drops down in the lift and runs across to a black Audi. He stabs Loxby's phone number into the sat-nav, and a cell lights up on the screen showing where she is. Riverside drives at speed up the ramp to the exit. As he sees the traffic ahead, he flicks a switch on the dashboard. A siren starts, and blue lights flash behind the front grille of the car. He gets to the roadway and traffic moves out of his way as they hear the siren. He turns up the Albert embankment that runs alongside the water and onto Waterloo Bridge. His eyes flick across to the sat-nav screen, and it shows he is 40 minutes away from Loxby.
Come on, Alice.
Loxby calls from the kitchen as she pushes her phone back into her pocket. Alice appears in the doorway with her coat on.
Why the panic? We're only going to see my brother and his mates in some pub in Richmond. I don't like to be late,
she says.
Here's the spare helmet. Have you ridden pillion before? My ex had a bike.
The women walk out to the street, and Loxby starts her Kawasaki Ninja 500. Alice climbs on behind her, and they move off towards the main road. Loxby navigates out to the west of London, then down past Shepherd's Bush, and onto the fast main road that will take them to Richmond. The traffic is heavy, and it starts to rain again. She weaves through the vehicles, and they start to get out ahead of a big queue and onto a stretch of open road. She opens up the machine, and the air rushes past them. Another bike has broken free from the queues behind them. Loxby likes a race and pushes her bike faster, but the other bike is moving more quickly than they are. Loxby moves out into the fast lane when the other bike is 50 yards behind, but it follows suit and puts on a burst of speed. She can see that it's a black BMW 500 as it gets closer. The rider is in all black too, apart from a mirrored visor on their helmet. They have to slow down to pass two lorries that are throwing up a mountain of spray from the rain. The BMW pulls up alongside the women. Suddenly the other bike swerves across into their bike. Loxby tries to steer away, but the bike keeps pushing her. She opens her throttle and tries to pull away. Loxby can hear Alice swearing on the pillion as they reach 80 miles an hour. The rain is heavier now. There is traffic ahead, waiting at the traffic lights. Loxby starts to slow, and the BMW closes in again. The rider drives straight for them, and the front wheel impacts the back of their Kawasaki. Her bike swerves as the centre of gravity shifts. But Loxby wrests back control, and she manages to pull away again. There's a queue ahead, but she can't slow down. Loxby takes the bike to the far left-hand side of the lanes, then speeds through inches from the curb, passing the waiting vans and cars. But the BMW follows her path. The traffic lights are on red as she reaches the junction. But she doesn't slow, and pushes on between the vehicles and through the red light. A car that's turning across her path comes within a few inches of her front tyre. She can feel Alice's hands tighten around her body as she skids around the car, then accelerates away. Behind them, she can see in her mirror that the other bike is through the junction too, and is coming their way.